Welcome back to the Literary Lounge. I'm Emily.
And I'm Paige.
I'm David.
And I'm Nick.
So obviously we have our husbands back. Maybe you remember, but earlier this year they were on to talk about the love hypothesis. So today we picked a book that's maybe a little bit more up their alley. We're going to be talking about Rosemary's Baby by Ira Levin. And then we're going to get into the movie too at the end. So welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gearing
Thank
up
you.
for spooky season.
Yeah.
Spooky season.
Looking
You
forward
guys
to
are
it.
kicking it off.
Yeah. Yep. And you guys are coming on again later, spooky season too.
That's
so we're just
right.
going to keep it rolling. So before we get into the book, question of the week. What are you most excited about for spooky season?
Who wants to go first?
You want to go, David?
Sure. Let's see. I think the weather. The weather, fall time. Because, I mean, it's been, 95s lately here?
Yeah.
I'm freaking stoked for the cool weather, sweater weather.
Do you see it's supposed to be like 108 next week?
What?
No.
Yeah, next week's going to be awful. Like 90s every day.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Dead
Oh my gosh.
serious, yeah.
Well, it better be like that up at the cabin.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys are doing this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, fun. Us
Is
too.
it-
Yeah. Is it Labor Day weekend this weekend?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Labor Day weekend.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
What are you excited about, Nick?
The weather as well. I can't wait for it to cool down.
Oh,
Scary movies. Love watching scary movies. Em and I have a list that we try to get through every year. We never make it through the entire thing, but we try our best. And then hunting comes in November, so
Nice.
yeah, when spooky season comes around, I know hunting's right around the corner, so lots to look forward to.
Yeah.
For me, probably the weather. And then I'm obsessed with watching like the Disney Channel
Yeah.
Halloween movies, like
Yeah.
Halloween Town and like Twitches and like Hocus Pocus and all that. So I'm like really excited to watch those. Otherwise, like I love getting like trick-or-treaters here and passing out candy and dressing up the dogs. And then our babies do after that. So
Oh my gosh. It's going to come
Yep.
so fast.
So
yeah.
fast.
So what about you, Em?
Yeah, I would echo everything you guys said. Love like the classic Halloween movies, like Halloween Town, or spooky movies.
Hocus Pocus 2.
No, that's a terrible. movie.
I liked
Oh, you
Isn't
did?
there like 4 of
not
them?
like it's not like
Two.
the best. Like the first one I thought was better, but like
Yeah.
it's still like them. So like that's what I
I
appreciate.
suppose. I mean, it's like the nostalgia of it all, but
Yeah.
didn't live up to the first one. Not even close.
they talk about like TikTok and stuff the whole time.
Yeah, it's like going. Yeah, they're just like trying too hard, I think, in that one. But yeah, I'm just like excited to be like cozy vibes. You know,
Yeah.
all things pumpkin.
Oh yeah.
You had your first PSL
Yep.
this last week
Yep.
because Starbucks got the pumpkin spice back.
First
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in it at first, but I think that's just because they didn't put enough like of the pumpkin syrup or whatever they do in it, the sauce.
I feel like they're
And,
just
like-
like rusty, you know. Like they just
Oh,
you got to
yeah.
give them like
First
a
of the
couple
year.
weeks to like get into the swing of things.
Yeah, but then it could also just be like pregnancy, like my taste buds changed. I was pretty disappointed in it. And so the next day I went to Caribou and I'm not even joking, their pumpkin latte tasted like mold. Like I had to
Ugh.
dump it out.
That's
so I was like
disgusting.
I was like scared like it was actually like moldy, so I had to dump it out. And then the next day after that I went back to Starbucks and it tasted good.
Oh,
So I'm like still on like a straight pumpkin spice craving.
yeah. Okay, Caribou, don't sue me, but I wonder if they like got out their whole old stuff from last year.
That's what I was
Okay.
wondering.
Like
'Cause I
they were
had
just using it up.
yeah, because I had my mom try it too, and it tasted like mold. She even said that too.
Oh,
Yeah, like dirt and mold. It was
Oh
disgusting.
my God.
Yeah.
well,
So sorry, Caribou. I like your
allegedly.
I like your malted mocha.
I like that you're a Minnesota company.
Yeah.
We always support local, so we'll
Love
have to
Caribou.
support it.
Caribou's the
I'm just
best.
not supporting your pumpkin latte.
We'll try again.
Try it
No,
again.
I'm not trying that again.
Nick and I are getting the pumpkin cream cold brew this weekend. We always get
Ooh.
like when we drive up to the cabin Saturday mornings because we're gonna go Saturday. We always stop at like Starbucks and we'll get like a coffee drink for the road, and we have to get the pumpkin cream cold brew.
You like that one too?
I do, yeah.
Nice.
I
I have to try
yeah.
it.
Don't act like you. Yeah, you love that thing.
I do. I
don't
think
think I've
that's
tried
the. Yes, I do like that one. I like the ones in the winter too with the mint. Is there
Oh, like
minty
a
one?
peppermint
Yeah,
mocha?
the
Those are
peppermint mocha
good.
I
Those are
like,
good, yeah.
I heard the apple crisp macchiato is really good too at Starbucks right now.
Is that new?
Yep.
Oh.
So that's
Sounds
another
Good
one
to
you
know.
can try. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, lots to look forward to this spooky season. I can't wait for all of it. So, forgot to mention our drink of the day, our featured drink is the vodka blush. So, if you have read this book or seen the movie, then you know that this is the drink that Roman and Minnie Castevet serve Rosemary and Guy when they have them over to their place for the first time. They are not very good. Just gonna say that we actually looked up the recipe. So I made it a little different than how they do it. They put grenadine in it. I thought it was cough syrupy, so we went with like a cherry liqueur. Is that how you say
Yeah,
liqueur?
liqueur. Yep, you got that right.
Okay. I think I just made that word up.
Nope.
Okay. Well, anyway,
It's good.
it's okay.
It's strong, but it's good.
It's a little strong.
I made
all right.
theirs a little stiff.
That's
That's
okay.
what happens when I eyeball things.
Do you remember that
That's okay.
teacher in high school was like fur whenever you said four?
Okay, yeah, but I can't remember who you were talking about.
I'm not gonna say their name,
Okay. Anyway.
but that reminded me of it when you said liqueur.
Alrighty. Anywho, let's get into this book.
So the book starts out with Rosemary and Guy. They're happily married. They're looking for a new apartment in New York City. They found a place and they're still like touring. So they toured the Bramford, and Rosemary is like obsessed with this location. Yeah, so they kind of cancel their deal with the previous place and go into the Bramford.
Yep. Yeah, it's like everything that she wants, but then obviously we find out that there's a lot of sinister things that have happened there. Their like good friend Hutch, that used to be like their old neighbor, tells them that there was like pasts of witchcraft happening, multiple suicides, murder. There was like a dead baby in the basement wrapped in newspaper or something like pretty fucked up like that. And like despite all that, they're like, we're gonna live there anyways.
Yeah, right?
So
We
like,
weren't like phased by that. Really.
would that spook you guys? Like, would you still, if it was like your dream apartment, would you still live there?
Oh boy, I don't think so. You know, having that reputation, I don't think I would.
Hell no. I would never live in a place where, I mean, somebody had died. If there are murders, no way. I mean, stuff like that, like the witchcraft and stuff. Like, if I had any hint of inkling that there was like a ghost or something in a house, I'm staying away from it. I don't want anything to do with that. No,
Yeah.
no.
The witchcraft would be like what got me
Oh,
like
gosh.
right away.
That
like,
would scare you.
yeah, but like I'd be intrigued. Like I'd want to be like, I'd want to check it out, but like I wouldn't want to live there. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
you go on the tour and then
Yeah.
you say see you
Yeah.
later.
Like go,
Yeah.
it's like Glensheen Mansion. Like you go look for the blood spatters or whatever, but
Yeah.
like otherwise, yeah, no.
yeah.
Yeah, and especially hearing that multiple events happened, not just like one thing. It's like, whoa.
Well, yeah, and the sisters that like killed babies or
right.
children or whatever.
Yep.
Like that's
The trench
I don't
sisters.
know about the trench. Yes, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah, no. I don't know. It would definitely be intriguing though to at least like go check it out to see if it's like haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they're just like, nah, we're good with it. Like, not scared at all. So they settle into their new place. Rosemary's enjoying like decorating and making it their own. She ends up meeting somebody down in the laundry room that she thinks like is gonna be a good friend to her there. Her name is Terry. She's been taken in by like the Castevets, who we find out is like their neighbor. So they like kind of took her in. She had like a rough background. She's wearing this like weird necklace that has like herbs inside of it. It's like a little metal thing, so we'll get into like the movie, but when we were listening to the book, like I was picturing like a little like glass ball with like a little like succulent in it, but it was like not like that at all.
It was a glass ball, wasn't it?
Mm-mm. Like in the movie, it's like
No.
a
Couldn't
metal.
see.
Metal, yeah.
It's like a little
Not
metal
have
My
ball.
blind
glasses
ass is
on.
sitting
Oh.
too far back.
Okay. You can actually buy it on Etsy. Like you
Oh,
can get
really?
like
Oh, no way.
remakes of like the necklace. You know,
Oh,
you
okay.
guys should be Rosemary. You should do Rosemary's Baby for Halloween.
No.
You already got half the costume.
I'm not blonde. I'm not cutting my hair.
Yeah, well, we'll get into her like 12-year-old boy haircut that she gets in the movie, but
Yeah.
you would have to like, have that hairstyle.
Literally not one person would know who we are.
That's true.
Except you
We
guys.
would, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Maybe like people that are older.
I doubt it.
Nobody.
I asked my parents if they like remember watching this movie or if they like ever read the book, and they're like, it sounds familiar, but they still had like no idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that was like their time.
Yeah.
So
Late 60s.
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember my dad, like, so I watched the movie for the first time, like, in middle school, because my dad was like, oh, it's a really creepy old movie. And I remember thinking it was creepy the first time I watched it. But, like,
Yeah.
now when we, like, read it and watched the movie again, like, I didn't really remember a whole lot about it other than, like, obviously she's, like, carrying the spawn of Satan. Like, I remember that part. But, like, I remember, like, thinking it was creepy, especially, like, the part where she gets, like, raped and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Mhm. I mean, I guess in middle school, that's a lot scarier.
Mhm.
Like, them going through that whole scene.
I feel like the whole like necklace with like the herbs in it is like, I mean, like I like watch a lot of scary movies and a lot of like witchy movies and stuff. I feel like that's already like a sign that like something like witchy is going on.
Yeah.
Like a glass like vial or sphere or whatever, like that's sketchy.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. But so anyway, that's like the necklace eventually that Rosemary will get gifted. But for now, like Terry's wearing it. And then like the next day after they have like this nice conversation in the laundry room, like they find out that Terry's like jumped from the building and committed suicide. And like the police and the ambulance, they come because she's like laying on the sidewalk there. Yeah, it's really like really
They were-
gruesome.
yeah, they were pretty descriptive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, yeah, they were in the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she like feels really bad for her, and like the Cassavetes are all surprised and stuff. But like knowing what we know now, like, do you guys actually think that she jumped?
Like knowing like how the book ends?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
You think she did jump?
Yes. Well, yes.
Well,
I feel
I don't know how to read it because at one point, like later in the book, I think Roman says to Rosemary that she was chosen. So
Yep.
that
could've-
Terry was.
no, that Rosemary was
Oh yeah.
to be the mother of Satan's spawn or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if like it's Satan getting rid of Terry because now Rosemary's in the picture, or if Terry figured out what was going on and she killed herself.
Yeah.
I don't really know if there's an answer.
The only reason I think so is because like Rosemary in the book wanted to like kill herself with the baby. Like she was talking about like jumping with the baby out the window. So like that's the only reason why I think Terry might have is like she like realized what was going on and like maybe she was pregnant. Who knows?
I think that's the.
And then she like jumped because she didn't want anything to do with it.
I think I'd believe it more if, after she had been impregnated, if she had done it. Like if we
Yeah.
knew for a fact. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
that's
that
true.
would make more sense. But
Yeah.
I don't know how to read it.
Yeah,
Well,
I
the
don't
old
know.
lady too, that whose apartment that was before, it's kind of like they killed her as well because they like put her into a coma.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think she was pregnant.
She was the first one. She's too old.
Yep.
Something was obviously happening though with that because she like blocked that door,
Yeah.
the entrance.
Oh.
I would have liked to have had a little more information on that.
little
Like
more
that was kind of
information.
intriguing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, what was going on there?
What about you? What do you think? Do you think she killed herself, Em?
I think she was pushed.
Really?
Yeah.
By the Cassavetes?
Yeah. I mean, just because like she seemed totally fine down in the laundry room. And I know like it's easy for some people to like cover up what they're really going through, like, internally. But just the vibes, like I feel like with this book being older too, it's like kind of what you see is what you get. And so I feel like yeah, they were like, oh, there's somebody better that would be better suited for this. Like, and they
That's true.
Pushed her out.
I had weird
Yeah.
weird vibes about their whole reaction to it.
Yeah.
It was like, and I couldn't tell if this is just like an older film, and that's their acting, or is it? I don't know. They acted a bit weird to it.
Their reactions to everything were weird, to be fair, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, in the book and the movie, they didn't seem very broken up. They were
No.
like very matter of fact about it.
Yes.
I felt like in the book
Yes.
they were a little more broken up, but yeah, the movie they're just like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, that's too bad.
I
cannot
Like in that
stand
voice.
Minnie's voice. It's-
Oh, she was driving me nuts.
It is kind of funny. You could pick up on that voice even on the book.
oh my god.
Yeah,
good.
because we should point this out. The audiobook is narrated by Mia Farrow, who plays Rosemary in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
and again, we'll like get into the movie and stuff, but like it's very similar. So like it was just almost like you were rereading the book in a sense when you're like watching it.
It was
Yeah.
It was weird the entire time we watched the movie. I was like, man, I know that voice from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, the goddamn book.
Yeah. Yep. That's cool though. I would like to know when they did the audiobook because I can't imagine it was in the 60s.
True.
Audiobooks probably weren't a thing back then.
Yeah, no,
True.
she's much
yeah.
older. You can kind of tell. I think,
Yeah,
with
the quality of the
voice.
audiobook's not that great though. Like
That's what had me
it's got to be
wondering.
at least like I would if I had to guess I would say like 20 years old, but I don't.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably around there. The next scene that happens, do you want to go about it? Because I was so lost during this. It's
Okay.
like, what the hell?
Yeah, and in the movie too, it's so weird. But like, so then that night, like Rose, and we should talk about this too. How like Rosemary, whenever she has a dream, it's not like super obvious that she's
No.
dreaming.
Yeah.
But I assume this is what's happening. She's sleeping and she has this like trippy dream about this old like school nun that she used to know. Like I don't know if she went to Catholic school or was just like going to religion classes or whatever, but like the nun is like yelling about how they have to find like a young woman who is not a virgin.
Okay.
But then it was weird because she was hearing like the Castevets' voices too, like through the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. Was she hearing like the flute and everything too during that time, or was that during the scene later?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah. Or like the chanting or whatever they were doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe.
I don't know. It's a weird scene though.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, wasn't there something about a wall being? They were covering up a window with bricks or something.
yeah.
Was that in the movie or the book? Or both?
I thought it was both.
Oh.
Yeah.
could-
That scene was confusing.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if it was first of all, I couldn't tell if it was a dream or like actually happening. And then I thought
Yeah.
it was actually happening and that a nun was part of like the whole I
Like
don't know,
satanic
coven
rituals.
That,
Yeah.
that was conspiring to impregnate Rosemary. So I was kind of confused because I mean Rosemary's not a virgin.
Mhm.
So I don't know. It must have been from her Catholic
Yeah.
like school days growing up because her family's super Catholic and
Mhm.
Yeah.
religious.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well,
It's weird.
in the movie too, it was like random. Like all of a sudden they show like a random scene of like a nun
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
like in a church. So then that for me that kind of like confirmed that it was like a dream.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't really understand why it was there. Like, what was
Yeah.
the point of
Yeah.
it?
Sure.
Just like a hint towards like what's to come or something.
Yeah,
suppose.
I think it's like foreshadowing. It's
Yeah.
like I don't know if it's like Satan's weird way of like communicating his
Rosemary wasn't a virgin though. Like,
intent. Yeah, they said they need somebody who is not a virgin.
I thought they said who is a virgin.
No, not a virgin.
Oh,
Oh.
I misunderstood. I guess.
That changes everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's perfect then.
Yeah.
Perfect. Qualified.
All those spicy scenes in the book where they literally be like, and then they made love.
Yeah.
Like it's so different than like the smut we read now where it's like,
yeah. Yeah, what we read now is very descriptive.
Yeah.
That's like very mild.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Mhm.
Because I bet like back in the day people were reading that and like getting all
Oh,
like hot and bothered.
scandalous. Like, yeah. Jeez. All right. Well, the Castevets invite Rosemary and Guy over for dinner. They make them the vodka blushes, which
Cheers.
is our drink today. They make a quick impression on Guy and Rosemary, or they make a quick impression on Guy, but Rosemary's skeptical. Like, for some reason, Guy is like just all for them.
Yeah.
And like Rosemary kind of explains too, like how Guy, like his parents like weren't really around that much for him. So she just is kind of assuming that they're like kind of taking on that parental role to him. But yeah, they like start to just like really insert themselves into Rosemary and Guy's life. How would you guys feel about if like your neighbors started doing that?
It probably depends on who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're a cute elderly couple that are like enjoyable to be around, then like I'd probably be like, this isn't so bad. But like
That could have been how they came across at first.
Yeah.
Too. So it's like, you never know.
right. I guess maybe like I'm the outlier here, but like I wasn't really like that bothered by them in the beginning. Like I thought they were kind of like a cute elderly couple, and I could kind of see why Guy was maybe taken by them because, like you said, like doesn't really have like parental figures.
Yeah.
And also he's like kind of lost with like his career right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so like just finding people that take interest in him, I'm sure is like a boost to the ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of curious though, like how much they knew, like Roman and Minnie knew about Guy and Rosemary, because Roman specifically says that his like uncle was a producer or something, and that's like I feel like he said that to get Guy interested.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like kind of pulled him in.
Yeah.
And then obviously he went back there without Rosemary, so that's probably when they told him about this whole
Set the
thing
hook.
and like got him
Yep.
on board.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they knew, like as soon as Rosemary and Guy came in and toured, if they knew about them and were like, these are our people, we're gonna
Oh, like if
Go
there was
after or
like
what?
almost like premeditated in a
yeah.
way.
Because I mean, Roman even talks about one of Guy's plays, and it's like,
Well,
you're the
isn't
guy
he-
doing.
Or they
this-
talking about like he was in a commercial.
Was it a commercial?
Yeah, they're like, we've seen you on TV.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. I was wondering how much they knew about him,
Yeah.
and if they had this planned. But
Well, that's what I was kind of wondering is like, was the realtor who was showing them the apartment, was he on it? And, or like when he asked, oh, so you guys are a couple trying to have a baby, this is a perfect spot. Oh, you were in a commercial, and like was just taking all that information to give to them.
yeah,
Oh,
was the realtor there at the end? You know, I don't remember
I
seeing
don't
him.
know. I don't know. That's a good question.
At least in the book, I don't remember him being mentioned, and I don't remember seeing
No.
him
I
in
don't
the movie.
think he
I
was
don't think he was
mentioned.
there,
I don't
yeah.
think
But
so.
that's a good point. I think
I didn't think about that.
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I like never thought about, now that we talk about it, it makes sense, but I didn't think about like how maybe they were like, yeah, Terry's not the one or whatever, and then they go after Rosemary or whatever. I didn't think that there would be like planning involved. I thought it just kind of like fell into their lap kind of thing. Like, oh, here's another young woman that's not a virgin, but it's very interesting. I
Yeah.
could see it being more planned.
Seemed to me like they planned it, but I don't know how they would have.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Never know. Anyway, so one afternoon, like Rosemary is just like hanging out at her new place, and Minnie and Laura Louise like come over and just kind of like invite themselves in, and they're all like crocheting and being like little ladies together. And like that's when Minnie gives Rosemary the necklace. And so like I said, like Terry was wearing it before. I'm assuming it's the exact same necklace. It's not like another, like it's not like she made another one.
Yeah, but then later on in the book, like multiple people have that necklace or like have
That's true.
the Tannis root.
That's true, the doctor or whatever.
But still, like she doesn't know that at that point. Like that's
Yeah.
such like a red flag. Like,
So does that make you guys think that like they did have something to do with Terry's death? Because like she was wearing it in the laundry room, so like either she took it off and jumped, or they like took it from her.
that's true. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah. I
Didn't
don't-
she say she never takes it off?
Yeah, I think so. When they're in the laundry
She
room.
said
Oh.
something like that. I don't know though.
I can't remember that part.
She seemed like she
Yeah.
valued it because they
Yeah.
gave it to her.
If you saw somebody jump out of a window, they're laying on the ground on the sidewalk, blood coming
Yep.
out of their head, and then the next day somebody gives you their necklace, I'd be kind of weirded out. Like
I wouldn't take it.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
I
I
would
want
say
that thing.
something.
Yeah.
She is weirded out. She like puts it in her dresser
But she like
she
doesn't
starts
like
wearing it though.
after her pain subsides in further into the book.
She's
Yeah.
too nice about it though. I feel like.
exactly. Yeah, she doesn't speak up about anything.
Yeah.
And
She's
it
very, like-
stinks. I don't get.
I'm surprised that she wasn't like, well, Terry had the same one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what's the harm in saying that? It's true.
yeah.
She told them that she met her in the laundry room.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. All of a sudden, things start to work out for Guy in his career. He gets a call for this part that he auditioned for, saying that the current actor went blind, and that he's going to get the part. So Donald Baumgard is the previous actor for that role, and he just all of a sudden goes blind like a few days after he like gets the call for the role. So, shortly after that, Guy tells Rosemary that he wants a baby because he's been like holding out for like making it big. Like he didn't want to have kids until he made it big. So then that night they're going to try for a baby, and Minnie brings over like this like chocolate mousse that she made, and
Chocolate mouse.
Yes.
I was
gonna-
just
I
thinking
was gonna
that.
say.
We all like smiled.
Yep.
And Rosemary starts like stumbling around and like bumping into stuff, and she's like clearly drugged, and she gets carried to bed. She kind of like collapses, and Guy catches her. She gets carried to bed, and then she has this dream, but it's like not a dream.
It's
But
so
it is
weird.
a dream. It's
Oh
like
my gosh.
it's like the weirdest scene in the book, honestly. What'd you guys think of that?
Well, it's a dream that turns into reality. I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
like a mix kind of.
Yeah, I feel like she's like in and out of consciousness.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah.
Because she didn't eat it all. She only had what, a couple bites.
She had a few
She
bites.
didn't like it. She thought it was like chalky.
Yeah,
You
The
sounded
mouse.
like her when you said that.
chalky.
Oopsies.
But yeah, she.
Yeah, I mean, only a couple bites, and then she just totally passed out. But yeah, was in and out of conscious because I don't think she had the whole thing.
Yeah, 'cause she dumped. I mean, at least I don't think in the book she specify that she dumps it like in her napkin.
Yep.
She
Okay.
like gets rid of it. Yeah.
Okay.
She didn't like it.
And
Yeah.
it was
in the book
weird
either.
how Guy is just like so pushy about her eating it. Like that was my first red flag with him, I think.
Yeah.
Was
Because
that.
like otherwise it's like not that big of a deal. I mean, it's not like Minnie's sitting there at the dinner table with them. Like it'd be
Yeah.
one thing if your spouse, like you're eating dinner with this other couple and you're like being bratty about the dessert. Like I could see
Yeah.
why maybe you're supposed to be like, just eat it. Like
Yep.
Yeah, it's not
don't
like
be
they would never
rude.
know.
But she like wasn't there. So like I don't know, like if I were in her place, Nick wouldn't be like, you have to eat it. So then that's like how you know something's up. Because you're
Yeah.
And he was
It's not a
pushy
big
about the
deal.
necklace too,
yeah.
which was also weird. It's like that thing reeks. Why would you
Yeah.
force your wife to wear that? Yuck.
Yeah. His pushiness is like a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Like that is in on it.
100%.
I was starting to get suspicious of him, honestly, after they had the dinner and then he wanted to go back. Because if you remember, like, when he gets back and Rosemary had talked to Minnie and she's like, oh, they invited us over. And he's like, I don't want to go over there.
Yeah.
Like, tell them we're not going
Yep.
to go. And then she convinced him to go over. And then when they leave, he's like, oh, I'm going to go over there tomorrow or whatever. And, like, he's going to tell me more stories. Roman's going to tell me more stories. As soon as that happened, I was like, something's
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
kind of going on here.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, yeah. Once he gets pushy with the moose and all that, like, yeah,
The moose.
it's getting a little questionable.
I
mean,
think. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah. Like I was, I was almost thinking, was he in on this prior to them moving in?
Yeah. That's kind
But-
of. Yeah.
But I don't know because, like, I mean, they did sign the lease with a different apartment. He didn't even really want to go to this place. She was kind of pushing him, so he went. She was kind of pushing him to go to the neighbors. He went, but then all of a sudden he started going there.
That's kind of like what I was going to get into a little bit. Like it would be really nice, like you know how some books we read like it switches point of views. Like it'd be really nice to get Guy's point of view because like I want to know how they like convinced him to join
Yeah.
this like
Yes.
cult.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
like obviously we know that they must have like bribed him with like the part and stuff and but like it'd be interesting to like see when this conversation happened. Like did it happen during that dinner that you mentioned or did it happen the next day whenever he
Yeah.
went back? Yeah.
Yeah, because that's
weird.
kind of like it happens or at least when they're doing the dishes, Minnie and Rosemary. That's I guess when I just like assumed that Roman like pitched it to him, but I'm like, that had to have been like 15, 20 minutes tops. Like, how do you convince somebody to like join a satanic cult in like 15 minutes?
But
Do
he's
you
so
remember that, though?
desperate for
Like-
a part.
Rosemary specifically points out that Minnie is washing the dishes extremely slow. And she
Oh,
offers to take over washing the
true.
dishes. She says, do you want to dry and I can wash? And he's like, no, I got it.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
she points out how long it takes to
Okay.
do the dishes. So
That's
I mean,
true.
it could have been the point where
Maybe it was more like a
they
half
start to
hour.
impression them. Yeah.
But still,
I don't.
like
Well, I don't know.
15
I mean,
minutes, half hour.
I feel like
you're
you
guys-
done.
gotta at least sleep on that guy.
Yeah, that's,
guy's a struggling actor, and they're offering
be famous?
basically to.
but
make
like
him famous.
sacrificing your unborn child.
Listen, I am
Like,
not in
what?
Hollywood. I don't.
30 minutes all it takes.
It's not for me, but guy seems like he really wants to be famous. So
I mean, he's
you know,
probably just shallow too. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
They talk about his shallowness a lot. He's just like, well, he's an actor. He's all about himself.
yeah.
Yeah.
They bring that up quite a few times.
I think going to the movie, I really liked all the acting. Like I thought Guy actually
Yeah.
played really well. You didn't
Yeah.
like it?
Really? No, I
Yeah.
hated their acting.
I liked
Especially
liked
the
it.
end when Rosemary was crying when she saw the baby.
it. Well, that's over the top.
she
But
was
it's
Yeah.
screaming, and it was the same
She
way
was
she was
like,
screaming in the
"Oh."
audiobook. Do you
but
remember
that's
that?
scary
I
in
do.
the
She
60s.
That was
starts-
loud.
Oh, I'm
It's
glad I
like
did.
nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. I thought that they played it really well. I thought Guy played or John Cassavetes played the Guy part really well, and Mia
Yep.
Farrow was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought they were good too.
Roman and Minnie, I don't know the name of the actors, but I thought that they were like kind of off-putting.
I
in
kind of
ways.
liked them though.
Yeah.
Like their characters were just like different, so I
Well,
was kind
except
of
Minnie's
like
voice.
thought they were like interesting.
Maybe it's just me with like old movies and just their style of acting back in the day. I just don't like it.
It's definitely
Yeah, you're
different.
kind of particular about like delivery of like
Yeah.
movies and books and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty cool that they didn't have the greatest CGI or anything with that movie, but it's still like it leaves you with a I don't know
uneasy.
a uneasy
Yeah.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't like any jump scenes,
No.
nothing like that. But you feel it when you're watching it,
Yeah.
and listening to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like frightening, but it's like the more you think about it, like the situation that everybody's put in, I
Yeah.
think it gets a little more like freaky. But
Yep.
yeah.
Well, maybe we should get into that part then.
Yeah.
So her like quote unquote dream she has.
Yep.
She's like on a boat in the middle of the ocean. She's seeing people on the boat that she knows. I think even Hutch is like in her dream.
Hutch is on the dock and he's saying that there's a typhoon coming, which is basically foreshadowing that something bad's going to happen.
I was so lost during this.
Oh my
series.
gosh, she like really read into that. I
Yeah.
just didn't think anything of that. But yeah, so she's like on the boat. She gets like directed down into like the
Hell.
I want to say like the bowels of the boat. I don't know if that's correct, but that just
I don't
think
that
that's
just
what they
felt
call it.
right. She goes
Down into hell.
The bowels of the boat. A bowel movement is. Are you trying to bring up poop?
That
For those
sounds
listening,
right.
we were talking about how we were going to try so hard not to bring up poop in this episode because sometimes we just start talking about poop out of nowhere. But anyway,
Well, congrats.
Here I am.
Bowels.
isn't that a thing?
I think it's a thing.
I don't think
That
that's
It's
what you
shit.
call it.
Poop deck.
That's
She's on the poop deck.
all right. Moving on.
Okay, so she goes down there and she sees more people she knows, like the Cassavetes. I think maybe she sees Guy. Everybody's naked. She gets like laid down on this like I don't know sacrificial table or bed or something, and like basically is raped by the devil. Which at first in the book like she thinks it's Guy, and then like kind of like looks up into his eyes and they're like yellow, and like also during the process they're like painting her body with blood, or she's like wondering if it's like red paint, or like doesn't really know what's going on, but it's just like really trippy. And I think even the Pope's there too.
Is it Guy
Yes.
though? Like is
No,
Guy
it's
like
not Guy.
No,
It's
but
not.
is he like being possessed by the devil?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
So they all saw the devil.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
okay.
apparently.
That's what I'm confused about. Like
I mean, in the movie,
They
it's the
conjured
devil
him up, I
because like
guess.
they have that like
But, like,
really
doesn't-
fake
Well, no.
looking.
but doesn't it flash like between faces of the devil and Guy?
Yeah, in
So,
the
like,
book.
Well, in the
In the
book,
movie I thought
in
it
the
did
book
too.
and the no, okay, so two things. In the book and in the movie, she points out that she sees Guy in the crowd of people
Yeah,
Yeah.
naked. So I don't know about that, but in the movie, it looks like the guy that turns into the devil is Adrian Marcato. Like I thought that's who
Oh,
that
really?
was. Yeah,
I
because
don't
it didn't look
know.
like Guy to me.
It
It
was
looked
like
like
Roman's
an older
dad?
time guy. Yeah.
Oh, weird.
So I don't really know.
Ew.
Yeah, gross.
Okay, you know what bothered me in the movie is how like Guy turns to Minnie and is like, she's waking up, and she's like, as long as she ate the moose, like she's good as dead. And it's like,
Yep.
all right, you basically just like gave away that like
That it's
it's
actually a real
real,
thing.
it's happening.
Yeah.
Where in the book I felt like it was more eerie, like you thought maybe it could be a dream.
I never thought in the book it was a dream though.
I mean, again, this book's kind of obvious. Like, you know that it's probably actually happening, but the way that it's described felt dreamy to me.
Yeah, that's kind of the confusing part because when you start out on a yacht and then you go into the
Just
bottom
in
of
your
the yacht
bed,
and
go to the
you
bowels of the boat.
yeah, it's
Lower deck. Like
below deck.
Below deck.
I don't really know how to read that because it's. I mean, I don't think that Guy raped her. I think that it actually was the devil, but I don't
What I-
really know because. Well, they took her through that damn, I don't know, that closet door or whatever, and they brought her into Roman and Minnie's place, right? And that's
Yeah.
where the devil's
Oh,
all
I
done.
thought
That's
I
what
assumed maybe it
I think
happened in
so.
her bedroom.
no, they brought her
No.
over because she said she saw like the
That
painting.
fire painting.
Yeah.
Oh.
In the movie, there's a fireplace when she
Yeah.
goes in there, and then at the end of the movie, there's a fireplace and like a picture of
Oh
a
my gosh,
fireplace.
you guys are
Remember
so
seeing
good.
that?
I'm a kid. I never pay attention.
So that kind of told me that it was
Book was hard to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Roman
Yeah.
and Minnie's place.
Exactly. Yep. No, and the part I remember in the movie is originally I think it's a human. Like it shows human hands on her body.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, is the devil like possessing one of them? Because like, how did they get the devil there? Like, how did they get
He
Satan?
just walks
I
in.
don't know, just
Like,
They
you know.
summoned him
I'm
somehow.
here.
Yeah.
But
That's
like,
I
like
don't
a
know.
good point though. Maybe it was Guy.
Maybe it was.
that's what I thought it was Guy. Because
Like,
in the
he,
book,
like,
it seems like
Inhabits
it's
his
him.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean that would make sense.
because
Wait,
like
what?
he was more rough, like,
Like
in
he's
the,
like
He
possessed.
says that
Yeah.
too.
by the devil.
He says that. I never take that as literal though.
Yeah.
I thought he actually was though, because like in the book, she's like very descriptive of like him like scratching
The
her and like him
claws.
on top of her and stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess I took it as like an actual, I took it as the actual devil, which sounds kind of weird when I
Yeah.
say it out loud, but
Didn't she like
Well,
talk
it
about
is,
how he got
but-
like bigger?
oh yeah, in the book
Yeah.
she does, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't just like
Yep.
making that
Bigger
up.
than normal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I feel like if it were Guy possessed by the devil, he'd feel a little different. Like he plays it too like aloof in the morning, like matter of fact.
Maybe he took
You know,
some of the
about the
chocolate
whole
mousse
thing. I
stuff.
Well,
feel like
'cause
if
I think he knows that she like doesn't remember it though.
yeah, but if you were possessed by the devil, I feel like you'd be a little more. I don't know.
But he gave consent to do that, obviously, because he brought her there.
I don't know. I just don't think that's what
I guess.
happened. I
I
guess.
don't know.
I don't know.
But I agree to disagree. I don't know. It's open to interpretation. I
Yeah.
suppose they never really clarify.
I wish they would clarify.
I know, I
really
do too.
wanna
Yeah,
know.
Yeah,
give us
I'd
all the
prefer to know.
answers, please.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'd like to know.
Yeah. There's so many unanswered questions with this book, I feel like.
Yeah.
Loose ends.
Yeah. Well, so then, just leading into that with the whole Guy thing, like waking up the next morning, she like has scratches on her body and is like confused because she knows that she like passed out or like was really tired. And Guy basically like tells her that he like had sex with her while she was unconscious and said it was like fun in like a necrophile sort of way.
It's disgusting.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like, because David asked, so I started listening to it, the audiobook. I couldn't listen to it anymore, so I had to finish reading it. And then David started reading it, and then he finished it listening to the audiobook. And I remember asking you, like, oh, what part are you on? And then you were before that. And then I was like, oh, I hate Guy. And then, like, we were just talking about, like,
Yep.
I didn't tell you,
I
like,
didn't
what
know
happened,
why.
but I'm like, he did something so awful.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
He is actually like the biggest villain aside from the devil, like in this book.
yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Because he's,
Bigger than
Oh,
Roman and
yeah.
Minnie?
yeah.
He raped his wife and sacrificed his baby.
I'm not convinced he raped his wife.
Or, well, he allowed somebody else to rape his wife.
Yeah.
So,
I think
yeah.
that's going
His-
against
he let
everything
his
you
wife get
promised in
raped.
marriage.
Yeah.
And it's
Yes.
just going against, like, natural
all that
Respect.
To be
I don't
Yeah.
disagree with
Anybody.
that. I'm just saying without Roman and Minnie, that wouldn't have happened.
And also, he agreed to drug
But the
her.
fact that he's like chill with it is
Yeah.
just
Yeah, he's
terrible.
not a good guy. I agree, but I think
Just
Roman
to be
and Minnie are the
famous.
ultimate bad. Like, not even the devil. Like, I feel like it's Roman and Minnie.
But
Oh.
he's the one who made the deal with them in the first place.
Yeah.
So Roman and Minnie might not have even had a role in it if he didn't make that deal.
Are you talking
with
about the
them.
devil?
No.
are you talking
Well,
God.
no, just a guy being like the biggest villain besides the devil. Because like Minnie and Roman wouldn't even be in that situation if Guy hasn't like
Agreed
to do everything.
Roman and Minnie have been looking for somebody to have the Antichrist.
I know, but they
though.
convinced Guy, and then Guy helped them do all this.
Oh, he's definitely a villain. I'm just saying. I don't think he's
I
the
think
big
he's worse
villain.
than Minnie and Roman.
I don't think he's... Well,
I mean, they're
all
like,
bad.
They're all bad.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
yeah,
all bad.
definitely.
I mean, they were like bad people, but he just did like the ultimate no to me.
Yeah,
Like,
same.
in my eyes, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
He had
I'm
one
not
job and he failed. As
disagreeing.
a
I'm just
husband.
saying I
If he
think Roman
said
and Minnie
no.
are worse.
If he said no, none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
I think they would have found a way, quite honestly. I do.
I would have moved the fuck out.
I would have too. I would have
Babe,
never moved
we're
in.
leaving.
Yeah, we would have never
I'm
lived there in
crazy.
the first place.
Well,
He's
this book-
such a gaslighter too.
Yes,
thinking
he
Oh
is.
my
about it,
god,
too.
yeah, he
Oh my
gaslights the shit
God.
out of her this
Well,
whole
if he
book.
said no, this would be called Sarah's baby or something.
No, it'd probably be Terry's baby.
Terry's baby, that's right.
Terry's baby.
Cousin
Yep.
Terry. Have you guys ever seen Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates? All right, let's move on. So, Rosemary's like really conflicted with all this, as she should be. I mean, that's really fucked up. Whether it was him or not, right? Like, she thinks it was him. That's not okay. She like goes away for, I think it's like a week. She stays in Hutch's cabin just to escape.
In the book.
Yeah, in the
In the
book.
book, yeah.
We were watching the movie and we are like, what the fuck? Where's that scene?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah, no, they just
That was
like
a
real
long scene.
briefly had like kind of like a off-putting vibe between the two of them for like a few days.
Yeah.
But she just like in her thoughts, like while she's away, just like realizes that she misses him. But she like knows that obviously he did something wrong and like wants to talk to him about it. Which they seem to work through it, and that's like right around the time that she finds out that she's pregnant. So it's just kind of she's like brushes it under the rug almost, like oh well, like I'm pregnant. This is what I want. That sort of thing.
Yeah, it is weird.
Yep.
She brushes a lot under the rug.
Yeah.
Yes, she does.
Yep. So then she makes an appointment with Dr. Hill. And not long after like that visit with him and he calls to like confirm that she's pregnant, like he tells her that he wants like her to come back in for a blood test. Did you guys think that that meant anything?
Yeah.
Yep.
But I didn't know what. Like, because, like, I didn't think Dr. Hill was in on everything. But then, like, I can see, like, both sides. So, like, obviously at the ending of the book, like, he calls a guy
Saperstein.
and, yes, thank you, to come get her. But, like, that could be, like, any doctor doing that just because she's, like, having a mental breakdown.
It seemed
Yeah.
like common courtesy, too.
Yeah. But then, like, with this, like, is he, like, in on it, too? Like, kind of? Like, it's just weird. Like, why would he need another, like...
I know. I keep like going back to that because I thought the same thing where like I didn't think he was in on it. I think he
Yeah.
was just like being like a concerned citizen and was like,
Mhm.
you know, didn't suspect her husband of anything and was like, she just needs to be safe, like with
Yeah.
her husband and like her doctor, her actual doctor.
Yeah.
So, okay, I have a question. When they draw blood to see if you're pregnant, what are they looking at?
The
They did a lot.
HCG.
So what does that tell them?
It's like a hormone that your body starts to produce when you're pregnant.
Okay.
Well, when they did it for UPage, they tested a lot of things. Like if you took any drugs, if
Well, yeah, but that's like, it's just like the typical
it's like a whole
blood
panel of-
test.
Yep.
So if
But-
she... Oh, go ahead.
It's just, that's like what you test for pregnancy is HCG.
Okay.
And that's the same thing that like like stick test, like
Yeah.
a urine test will do, but like the blood test is obviously like more sensitive. So like you can go get a blood test before you can even take a urine test to see if you're pregnant because like the HCG will show higher in your blood than in your urine. But yeah, that's what they test.
And what is HCG?
It's just a hormone that your body produces
you're pregnant.
if you're pregnant.
Okay. So
It stops your uterus from like shedding like your period.
okay. So it's okay.
So it's like HCD is like telling your body like, oh, there's something here. Don't continue. Like, don't get your period.
Yeah, I don't really know how to read that thing because when I first saw that or heard that on the audiobook, I thought maybe it was like they knew she was pregnant, but they were somehow seeing that there was something
Like
abnormal,
off?
like
Yeah.
like.
And at that time, she wasn't taking anything.
Well, that's yeah. So I don't know. That's how I read it though. Is like she's pregnant, but with what?
Yeah, they got the answer that she's pregnant from the blood test,
Right.
unless they did like a
Yeah.
urine test. I don't know back then. Like,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's weird. Like, why else would they need her blood? You already got the answer,
yeah. So I don't really know.
and nothing ever comes out of that either. I don't think.
No,
Right?
because she stops
No.
going to him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I read it, I honestly didn't read anything into it.
Really?
I was just like, okay, they need more blood.
It's
I
probably
thought it
just
was weird.
placed there to make us question.
It could be.
Yeah, I just feel like
Probably,
it was
yeah.
a really random part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if as an author, like I felt like it was like intentionally placed there, there to either like just create questioning or like an eeriness to like she's pregnant and something's different about it.
Yeah,
like
you know,
Yeah.
maybe is that the first kind of questioning that she does?
yeah, I mean, because she's like, well, why do you need more blood? Like
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
pregnant,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like
just-
she's
that's
all
literally the
concerned
first
that
time.
like it's
Yeah.
a mistake.
Yeah,
And that just carries on through the whole book. It's just all of a sudden more questions, more questions.
the poor woman.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's brutal.
Put through a lot in this book. But obviously doesn't stay with Dr. Hill for very long because the Castovits like interfere and tell her she needs to go to this like famous Dr. Saperstein, and they're good friends with him, and they can get her like a discounted rate kind of thing. And so she just like takes him up on it because she's like, this is a nice thing they're doing for him. He doesn't suspect anything.
It's funny. Sorry to interrupt,
Nope.
but it's
Go
funny
ahead.
because when in the book and in the movie, when she calls Dr. Saperstein at the end of the conversation, she says, "We hope so too," as in like, I took that as we hope that this one sticks too. Like I hope this one's pregnant too, so you know that he's in on it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, what?
You don't remember at the end of the conversation,
No.
she like goes through the whole spiel with Dr. Saperstein, and then she's like, "Yep,
Yeah.
yep, we hope so too." And
He
then she
says
hangs up.
that?
Minnie
She says-
does. So I take it that Dr. Saperstein's like, "Oh, I hope this one
Oh.
sticks,"
Whoa.
as in like getting her pregnant with the Antichrist.
Yeah. So how many times have they done
Yeah,
this?
so I wonder, what try this is.
Oh my gosh.
Nice
You're
job.
really paying
Hey.
attention.
Pick up on
Yeah.
that? I noticed it in both the
Oh.
movie and the book, and I thought it was interesting.
Wow.
Oh,
So I don't know.
wow.
It'd be they should do a prequel before Rosemary.
That would be really interesting, actually, like how
Yeah.
the cult came to be, like Minnie and Guy's background, when and how they found out, like, we need to find a vessel for the Antichrist, like
Yeah.
how that all went down.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
that dude, what? He was like 79.
Roman?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Roman.
He's
Yeah,
older.
Like, how long have they been trying?
yeah, I know. No kidding.
They didn't
Well-
have any kids, maybe they were trying.
Yeah.
Probably back before Adrian, or during when Adrian was alive. I mean,
Yeah,
when he was first,
probably.
took over. But yeah, I don't. It'd be. That's what the second book should have been,
Yeah.
if there was one. I think
There
was
is a
one.
sequel.
Should
It's
have been a
called like
prequel.
Son of Rosemary.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna read it though.
No,
probably
probably
not.
Oh, there is.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
And I think a movie that goes.
that
along
actually
with
would
it.
be interesting though.
Oh,
I feel like to read it.
maybe.
What
Just
did she
like,
end up
no.
naming him? No, not
Andy.
Adrian.
She wanted to name him Andy.
Yep.
She's always talking to him, baby Andy or
Yeah.
Mary or Sarah
Jenny,
or
something.
Jenny.
She changes
Jenny,
the
yeah.
name
Yeah.
every single time
It's-
she brings
I
up
think
the
it's
names.
like funny though.
That
Yeah.
really annoyed
That
me.
is
I'm not
funny.
gonna lie. Every time she'd be like, "Oh, baby Andy or Jenny," I'm like, Jesus.
It's gonna be
pick one.
okay, baby Andy or Jenny. I thought
Yeah.
it was cute.
Yeah.
So Minnie starts to make Rosemary these like vitamin smoothies every day. And then Rosemary's like getting all this like unexplained pain. And yeah, she thinks what it was like in the beginning too, it tasted bitter, right? Like there's obviously like freaking like meds and shit in there. I feel
Yeah.
like that's like.
I feel like
not
as a pregnant woman, and you tell me, like, would you be concerned if somebody's just making you this random vitamin
Oh, I
smoothie
wouldn't
that you didn't know
frickin'
what
eat
was
it.
in it?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh my
okay, but it's
gosh.
different these days too because like now like there's so much like you can't eat and you can't drink and like I think like at one point in this like during her pregnancy she was like drinking alcohol.
Oh yeah, she
Like,
100%
during the
like had some
toes.
wine like in the beginning.
Yeah,
and they
but
were
like
smoking
yeah, they're
right
all
in front of
smoking
her.
around.
Yeah.
her.
exactly.
She's eating
Sparking
raw
it up.
meat and raw eggs. Like that's a
Yep.
big no now. Like you don't know. So yeah, no, I would not take that. Like that's obviously like
Yeah.
not good.
Just feel like if this neighbor you didn't know super well was like bringing you a mystery smoothie every day, pregnant or not, you'd be like, I'm not gonna drink that. Like you could put
Yeah.
anything in it.
I want to know like why and what is in it. Like, but like why and like why is she getting all this pain? Like, is this because this thing has a fucking tail and is like wrapped? Like, you know,
I think
like
so.
why?
I think it's just because it doesn't
And the
have like the
claws.
anatomy of like a normal baby.
Yeah, or is it the shit that they're feeding her? You know, yeah. Like, I wish they would like
Yeah.
explain that.
I was wondering about that too. I think the why is because Dr. Saperstein ordered it, and I don't know what it is about that drink that helps develop a
The
satanic or a
Well,
demonic
Satan.
baby.
The why with the pain though.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, like if it's like the anatomy of the baby
Yeah.
or if it's like what they're taking. Yeah.
I'm
so
guessing that it
weird.
was helping the demonic baby develop in some way. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
that's the
probably
only reason I
needed
would think.
different nutrients than like a
Yeah.
normal baby.
It's like like the raw food. Ew.
Yeah. Or yeah, how she's like craving like bloody meat.
Well, I thought that was the baby like craving.
Yeah, it was like
meat.
what her baby
yeah.
needed.
Yeah.
It's almost like in Twilight
Yep.
where she's
With the
like-
blood.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she has like same thing. I wonder if like the author got inspiration from Rosemary's Baby because like spoiler alert if you haven't seen the last movie in the Twilight series or read the books, but like how she starts to lose all that weight and she looks like all like washed out and thin because like
Yeah.
her body can't handle like carrying a vampire baby.
Yeah, that's a good point too. But then also like the things that she's been like dealing with pregnancy like actually happens. Like for me, like I was super sick in the beginning of pregnancy. I lost a decent amount of weight too.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's not like really like that much of a raise of concern. Like, and then also like the pains, like you get like ligament pain and stuff, and not as like severe as what she is explaining it. But everyone's pain level is like different.
Yeah.
But like I feel like a lot of the symptoms she was having were actually pregnancy symptoms too.
Yeah.
So it's like you
Very
never
well could have
know.
been. Just like
Yeah.
a combination of everything was probably just like a lot.
Yeah, but like learning like how long the pain was going on, that's like not normal.
Yeah.
Obviously. But
Yeah, wasn't the doctor always saying like, "Oh, it'll be gone in 2 days." 2 days.
that would
Yeah.
piss me off.
Give it a
Yeah,
few
no
days.
kidding.
That alone would make me
been
change
since
doctors. Like
November.
you're not listening to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she like makes a joke eventually and she's like to Guy, like, well, don't you know it's supposed to be gone in a few days?
Yeah, right.
'Cause he's gaslights the shit out of her the whole
Well,
time.
That just shows like how things were back in the day though too. Like the wife is like the submissive one and has to always listen to the husband and like
yeah.
doesn't really like have a voice in the house. Like that just shows like how different things were back then.
Right. And like we're jumping ahead, but like when she wants to go back to another doctor and he's
Yep.
like, the hell you are, it's like, are you serious right now? Like
Yeah.
you don't get a say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very annoying.
Yeah. Anyway. Piece of shit guy.
It's because he made a deal with the devil.
That's true.
That's what he
is
did.
the devil. So she meets up with Hutch, has him over to their new place, and he's like super worried about all the weight that she's lost and everything, and like can tell that something's wrong with her. He's like, this is not normal. Like whatever you're going through is wrong. And then like Roman stops by to visit. I don't know if it was like just by chance or if like you think he like intentionally showed up there, but
I don't think anything is by chance with Roman.
Okay.
I feel like
It was-
he's like getting. I don't know. He's
he
got a
knew
plan.
something
He's
was
scheming.
up. Yeah.
Well, they live next door, so he probably heard like her talking to someone.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
true. And they're just trying to keep tabs on her and Guy like the whole time. Obviously, she's carrying like their future like master. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
and so then we find out that he like takes Hutch's glove. Like he can't find his glove or whatever, and because Hutch leaves and he's like, well, I must have left it somewhere else before I came here or whatever. Because
That's
Roman's
where I
like,
don't know if it was Roman or if it was Guy.
oh,
Because Guy comes running home.
I think it was Guy because of that.
oh, really?
I
I
did-
thought it
I
was
think they mentioned
Roman.
that.
I
in the
thought it
movie.
was Guy too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Because then he goes over and he says he's gonna go in the book. I think he says he's gonna get ice cream.
Yeah.
And then she says she hears him knock on the Castavet's door,
Yep.
and she thinks that he's asking them if they want ice cream, but he's probably dropping the glove off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
so
it
he
was
was in on
Guy.
it?
Yeah, because he like rushed home with his makeup on and
Yeah,
everything, and
makeup
he
on.
never does that
Yeah.
apparently.
Yep.
Yep.
And then he says something like,
Oh.
"Oh, don't move, guys."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he just runs back, and then he dumps all his cigarettes on there. But
Yeah.
during that, I think is when he took the glove.
Yeah, and then because I think like it was either in the book or the movie, I can't remember which one, but the fact that like Roman came there and then Roman probably called Guy to rush home and like fix things
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're like onto it. Or Hutch
they're
is
all
like
tied together. Yeah.
onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roman probably knew Hutch was coming up. Yeah, he probably knew he was coming up and got a hold of the guy, but
Well, with like the black candles, like
Yep.
everything, like pointing out everything. Like Roman was probably sweaty and like shit. He's on to us.
right. I kind of
Not
liked
only
that.
him.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, not only him onto him, but like Rosemary was onto them too. Like
Yeah.
she was calling out the bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought was interesting was how Rosemary pointed out to Hutch that Roman had an ear piercing.
Mm-hmm.
And like nowadays, like that doesn't mean that you're a devil worshiper if you have an earring. But like back in the day, that was like, like you're a bad person. Apparently, like
Well, and in
I
the
was wondering
movie,
about that.
in the movie, they do like a close up on it when he walks in the room, like a close up on the ear
Yeah.
piercing.
So funny.
I thought that was funny, but yeah, I kind of like the interaction between Roman and Hutch when they're in Guy and Rosemary's apartment.
mm-hmm.
Just I don't know, it was kind of like fun to watch. I thought like
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Roman had an answer for everything. I feel like
right.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a very calculated individual.
Yeah. Oh, those meds go bad just sitting on the shelf.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, that night, then Hutch like calls Rosemary and has like something very important to tell her, but he doesn't want to tell her over the phone. He just like wants to meet in person, which like is interesting because like back in the day, I highly doubt they had like the technology to like listen in on each other's conversations. Could be wrong. Maybe if they had more than one phone in the house.
Well, that's not
Yeah,
really
if they
what
had more than one
happened, though.
phone though.
What do you mean?
Guy took the call, and then he brought the phone into Rosemary,
Yeah.
and he knew Hutch was on the other line, and I think he just sat there and listened.
Well, he asked Rosemary. No, he didn't. He didn't listen. He asked Rosemary what he wanted, and then she like told him everything.
Oh, true.
Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he has something to tell me. He wants to meet me tomorrow. Like, she told him everything, where they were meeting.
Yeah, fair.
Wait,
That's
is that when he
Yeah.
runs out to get ice cream?
Yes.
That might be when
Yes.
he had the ice
That's
cream.
when
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
ice
So then
cream.
he was like, "Oh, he knows. We got to kill him."
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah, so then Hutch doesn't show up the next day. Like Rosemary waddles her little pregnant self out into New York City during Christmas time, and like he's not there. So then she like finds a phone booth and calls, and like it must be like Hutch's girlfriend or kind of
It's just
somebody like a close
I
friend
say just a friend.
tells her that like he's like fallen severely ill and he's in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a coincidence.
Yeah,
Coincidence.
I was kind of sad. I liked Hutch.
me too.
Right.
He was like a cute old
He's a great
man.
guy.
Yeah. Good guy.
Yeah, so time goes on. She eventually like starts to hit like a breaking point. She has this party, and at the party she like hits this breaking point, and she like when she was like planning the party, she was like, yeah, no one over 60 is invited. Minnie and
was so
Roman
funny.
can't come.
That was funny.
And like Guy's like, okay, whatever. But yeah, she like loses it at the party and has like a breakdown. And like her friends start to like convince her like none of this is like normal. Like you need to go get a second opinion from a doctor, which is like a normal thing to say from friends. Like
Yeah.
it's not like sketchy. But then she tells Guy that, and then Guy's like freaking out, like they're bitches. They're just putting these thoughts in your head, like you have the best doctor in the city and all this stuff. And then like all of a sudden when they're like in this like shouting match, her pain just like instantly like goes away, which is I'm still
so
confused about that. Like how did it just like randomly go away? Like is that Satan like being like, oh shit, she's like
This is a
onto
Or
it.
it's like the baby
Stop.
likes being around like conflict.
Yeah, that could be it. It
Like
just,
the baby was soothed by the screaming. But then it's not like she's
it never-
consistently goes through screaming like the
and
rest
it
of
never
her
came
pregnancy.
back. The pain
It
never
could just
came
be
back.
I think it's
Coincidence.
probably just like a coincidence. Like the
But
book.
like that, like what?
Yeah.
I
That
don't
was
know.
After
crazy.
months of pain, it's just
Months.
weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Does she ever talk about feeling the baby kick? I think she
Yeah,
does,
I
right?
think
In
she
that
does
It's
in
moment.
right
that
after
moment, yeah.
this.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
feels the baby kick because she
Because
thought the baby died.
She thought the baby died.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she like felt it kick. She's like, "It's moving. It's alive."
Yep.
Yeah.
Because she made her own drink that day, and she's
Mm-hmm.
like, whatever I put into that drink, it killed the baby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then after this, she like, oh, you're good. She like starts to drink Minnie's and eat Minnie's stuff again.
Makes
Yeah.
no sense.
I
No
don't
sense.
get that.
She goes right back to it.
Yeah.
She's
And didn't
very
even try to-
naive.
It's very naive.
Didn't even try to go back to Dr. Hill or nothing. Just dropped everything.
Yeah. And then like, so like since her pain's going away, like there's like this period of time where she's like drinking this drink every day and eating this like they say it's like marzipan or something like that. But
I don't
it's
remember.
yeah, they said it's something that tastes like marzipan. It's like a little cake thing or whatever. But then Rosemary later finds out that Hutch died, and she like starts to feel guilty because she like didn't. She kind of like forgot about him. But she goes to the funeral, and this girl that was on the phone, I can't remember her name. Was it like Grace or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was Grace.
Yeah.
She sees her at the funeral, and Grace hands her this book that was gonna get mailed, and I guess Hutch like regained consciousness like during the last moments of his life, and said like was going on and on about this how this book has to get to Rosemary, and like that the name is an anagram. Was it anagram?
Yep.
He just
you're
says
right.
like it's an anagram, like,
Yeah.
but they don't really know what he's like referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they said, yeah, because they said the name's an anagram, but he wasn't like specific on like the title or like an actual name.
Yeah, he says it's an anagram, and the name of the book is All of Them Witches.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a witchy book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Rosemary obviously like spends time digging into it and is like mixing around the words in the title, trying to figure out like what it's referring to, flipping through the pages of the book, like eventually is like looking at an image of like Adrian Marcato and his like son, and it
His wife.
says and it says like Stephen Marcato like underneath, and like she kind of like it like clicks in her brain like, oh, like what if I scrabble this up? And she's already skeptical of her neighbors to begin with, so it kind of just like all ties together at that point. And then she tells Guy, and it again like gaslights her and takes the book and is like, you need to stop reading this, like I'm gonna put it away, and then he tosses it.
Well,
With everything that guy has done, why does she keep fucking telling him stuff?
I know.
well, it's weird because he's like, yeah, that's definitely Stephen Marcato. And he's like, no, they're not witches. It's like,
Yeah.
It seems like a weird, I don't know, I feel like he would just deny. It's weird that he admits that, yeah, that's probably him, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's like, at that point,
Well,
I'd be
he's
like...
not his dad. It's
well,
like,
no, I know, but if I was Rosemary at that point, I'd be like, okay, if
Yeah.
that's Stephen Marcato, like,
right, but like
something's
that's like
going on.
like Guy makes no sense where he's like, well, he's not his dad, but it's like
Yeah,
you
it's
would
a-
think any reasonable person would be like highly suspicious.
But if like the proof
Of
is right
Guy.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Roman.
yeah.
Suspicious of Roman.
I don't think he could have really lied about it though, because like if the proof is right there, like what is he gonna say? Then he's gonna look suspicious.
Yeah.
So like he kind of has to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
I mean,
He's not like that,
everything
though.
that Rosemary brings up, he always figures out something. He just comes up with some bullshit lie.
Yeah.
And I know Rosemary said, like, you know, when can you tell an actor is actually telling the truth or something like that? He always just spins stuff.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, like, then does this lead to the point where she decides to call or, like, does she visit or call Donald Baumgart?
Calls.
She
Calls him. And, like, finds out, well, she calls just to see how he's doing with, like, his, like, diagnosis.
Blindness.
Yeah. And, like, starts to put two and two together how, like, Donald Baumgart and Guy had swapped ties. And it was, like, Guy's idea because he liked Donald's better.
Well, do people just go blind overnight? Like, that seemed weird to
I mean,
me.
I think you
That's
can,
so
like, lose
weird.
your vision, but, like, from what I don't know.
But he just went like blind like that, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, the guy's blind now." It's
I
like
feel like
that
usually
seems
it's
weird.
like progressively
yeah,
getting
like,
worse.
slowly you need glasses, and then,
But who knows?
yeah. I wouldn't know. I'm not a
I thought that was-
doctor.
I thought that was
It
weird.
was either in the book or the movie. I can't remember. One of those. I thought it said in one and not the other. But didn't she say like, "Oh, did Guy spike my drink?" And she's like, "Oh no, no." Do you remember that?
Her like inner monologue, kind of like. Inner
Was it
commentary.
spike my drink or steal from me?
No, like he was talking about like, "Oh, did Guy spike my drink? So that's why I'm blind."
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I was thinking the tie, like, oh, did he
okay.
to steal my tie or something? No.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, I think that did happen.
But it was the tie. I thought it was like.
I thought they were talking about his blindness.
They did. Yeah. They
But it
swapped
was-
ties, but he like made a joke because she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry about your blindness" or
Yeah.
whatever, and then something happened.
Yeah.
They said something else, and they're like, "Oh, did he spike my drink and make me blind?"
Exactly.
With
Oh,
something
like
that's-
jokingly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's weird to go blind overnight.
When in reality, he did steal the tie and make him go blind.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Yep.
Oops. Maybe
It
don't
was
switch
him.
ties, bud. I don't know.
Yeah. So then after that, Rosemary's like, well, now I can't trust anybody but Dr. Saperstein. And, like, goes
Yeah,
and tells him
that's-
everything. It's like, well, you found him from the Castovets, and Guy wants you to
Wait,
see him.
no. She doesn't tell him everything. Oh, she does. doesn't
No.
she?
Yeah, I think she
no.
does.
She tells him that she thinks the Castovets are like,
I'm mixing these
This
up.
is a different
Witches.
time.
oh,
She said that later.
No, she does say it, and then she goes back.
No, because remember she's in the lobby and the receptionist said, "Oh, you don't
I think
smell
there's
like
a time
tannis root anymore."
I think there's a time before that.
That's
though.
before that. Yeah.
I think there's one time where she starts to go in. She tells Dr. Saperstein
Yep.
that Roman is Stephen Mercado.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's like, I can't remember what he says, but
He's basically
Yeah.
like totally takes her side. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you think this, and that's awful if this is really it. And you know, he's probably ashamed of it. You know, they're trying to solve their own problem of going on vacation because he's going to die.
Yep.
So, but they didn't want to be rude to leave before you have your kid. So I'll tell them it's okay that we talked, so you guys can leave.
Yeah, that's a different time.
that's before.
Yeah.
No, that's before
No,
she
that's
goes
before
in.
she goes back.
Yeah, I
again.
know.
Okay.
Yeah. Never mind.
Okay.
yeah, there's like 2 visits in there.
There's
But
2
so,
visits.
yeah. Then,
That was
like,
just next in the outline. that part wasn't in here.
oh,
That's why it, yeah.
summarizing things. Anyway, so then they leave, like they think that they go off to Europe or whatever.
Yep.
We learn that they really did not. But she's like, she doesn't trust Guy either at this point when she goes back to Dr. Saperstein. And then, like Paige said while she's waiting in
Yep.
the room to
Yep.
see Dr. Saperstein, like the receptionist points out that like the smell coming from Rosemary is like what Dr. Saperstein often smells like, which is like the tannis root smell.
Yeah, and I think he used it as like a cologne or something.
How does Rosemary not know that Dr. Saperstein's in on
gosh.
this?
She's, yeah, very oblivious.
Yeah, she's like running out of people to trust. It's like, why didn't she like go back to one of her friends that was like, you need to see a different doctor? Or like,
Yeah.
even though she's kind of estranged from her family, she has that one sister that like calls her in the beginning of the book and is like,
right.
I had a bad feeling about you. And she was kind of like a motherly figure to her growing up. It's
Yeah.
like,
Or
why wouldn't you
foreshadowing.
like call your sister and be like, I don't trust anybody in New York. Like, I need to come see you, or
Exactly.
can you come get me? Like, I don't know. Rosemary's just kind of dumb, I guess. But
I don't
they-
think the sister's in the book or in the movie.
no,
She tries. I think she tries to call her.
Really?
You remember like when she gets back into the house when Saperstein and Guy are chasing her after Dr. Hill's office, and she tries to call.
She tried to call her.
She tries to call her sister, and then
not there or something.
the operator calls back, and Guy's like, "No, like she doesn't need to talk to her anymore," or something like that. But,
Oh.
yeah, it's the only. I don't think they actually show a scene of her talking to her sister in the movie.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they skipped that part.
There's so many characters in this book. I like lost
There
There are a lot.
with all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so we said earlier, then she like panics, goes to Dr. Hill, and again is like, I can't trust anybody. Dr. Saperstein, my husband, the neighbors, everybody's in on it. They're gonna take my baby and hurt my baby, and like, please help me. She like falls asleep on his like exam couch, and while she's sleeping, he like calls Guy and Dr. Saperstein.
Well, there's before that, in both the book and the movie, it's played like Dr. Hill believes her.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like
but
concerned.
That's like a doctor's point of view, though. You never like.
Yeah.
That's how you like treat patients.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
I know, but I think it's important to point out like he's kind of, like you said, not trying to make her feel like she's crazy, but at the same time, he's going behind her back and calling her a real doctor.
Yeah.
I don't think he's in on it, but I think he's like trying to
I think he's just
be courteous to
yeah,
Saperstein.
He's just
That's
like
the
a
vibe I got.
concern.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's concerned for her like mental stability at this point
Yep.
too, because obviously she's like sounding crazy,
Yeah.
and I think like he's just like, yeah, it's probably best you're with your husband and your doctor.
Yep.
And
I mean, plus thinking about it too, like it's either she's correct and they're Satan worshippers, or she's just going a little loony. Like
either way,
one
it's
is more
crazy.
likely.
Yeah.
You know that if you've never seen evidence of satanic rituals and the devil himself, like you're probably not going to make the assumption that like your spastic like patient is correct.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I feel like he would have like believed her more if she didn't bring up Dr. Saperstein.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Because he was like, wait, Doctor, like the
Yeah. Like
whatever
the
his first name is,
well-renowned-
Abe or whatever,
Abe, yep.
Saperstein.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. And then that's when he was probably like,
You're
he's like
crazy.
a well-renowned doctor.
That seemed like the point where he kind of turned.
yeah.
I agree
Very
100%
true.
with you.
Yeah, I mean, if she had the moment or the time to like think this through, like she should have been like, okay, if I tell him what's really going on, I'm going to sound crazy, so I should go in and say I don't feel safe at home or something like that, because then like I guess I don't know how it was back in the 60s where if women really had any like
Well,
protection, when they're not safe at home, or if it was just kind of a man's world back then, but like nowadays, if that's like one of the things they ask you in the doctor's office, like, do you feel safe at home?
I'd like.
And
Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like back then women aren't taken as seriously either, especially
No.
in healthcare. So like, yeah, he probably just like instantly assumed like, yeah, you're going crazy.
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say?
I'd like to think that even back then, like if she said, "I feel for myself and the baby" to her doctor, that he would have at least been like, "Okay, you can stay here or something, or we can get a hold." Like, I feel like he would hopefully try to help her figure it out.
Or like, let's
Because
get a
it's
hold of
her
a family
doctor.
member to
Yeah.
come get you.
Yeah,
I feel like
but it's-
oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's brutal with Guy gaslighting her so much through the entire thing, where he's just like, "Oh, it's postpartum. Oh, you're just you're a little crazy today," like the whole time.
I think like she should have just went in and not said all that. She should have just been like, I'm really concerned for my baby. I just think I need a second opinion. I want another doctor because I was having all this pain, and kind of like bring up the pain again instead of like going through this whole like devil worshipping thing. Like she should have just like went in like I've felt pain and like made something up just to like have him check the baby. Instead of like.
Yeah, she would need an excuse to not see her regular doctor, but
Just because, well, yeah, that is her excuse though. She was having, I mean, the pain stopped at this point, but she could have just said she was still having pain, and the other doctor wasn't doing anything about it, so she wanted to get a second opinion, and she just
Yeah,
can't
true.
handle the pain anymore,
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't know.
all the things she could have done but didn't do.
Yeah.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, so Guy and Dr. Saperstein show up and they are like, we're going to bring you home. Like, you're okay. They like bring her into this car and shove her in the middle of the two of them. And like they ride back to their place. And then she fakes like dropping everything out of like her purse, like spilling everywhere. And while like they lean over to like help pick it up, and the same thing with like the elevator guy like is trying to help, she like books it in an elevator and like shuts the door and like rides it up to her apartment. And is like, she gets there in time to like shut the door on them, but it's like they know that she's in there. Like that's her apartment. And they get in through the closet door, right? Like through like the door that is adjoining with their place in the Castovets.
Yep.
And so they end up like sedating her. Yeah.
I thought she was just going to run to somewhere else, not to her place. But
I mean, where else can she
Yeah,
go?
where is
when
she
she's
gonna
This
go?
is
not
true.
on
She
the
can't like get into
floor,
anybody
those are
else's
things like-
apartment, but
rooftop access.
It's like you got to make a
common
scene when you're
area.
outside. I don't know what else you do.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So, okay, she wakes up and they tell her that her baby didn't make it. How did they deliver a baby? And she didn't have any evidence of a C-section.
I was wondering that
How'd they
too.
get the baby out?
I was wondering that too. She's fully sedated. Like,
Yeah.
It's a demonic baby. I have no idea. I don't know.
right out of there.
I don't know.
Did
Seriously, I
you
don't know.
question that? I was like,
I did, but
Plot hole.
I don't have an answer to it. I have no idea.
I think it's a plot hole.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know a lot about deliveries, but like,
They don't just come out. You gotta
well,
push.
I know
Yeah, you
that,
gotta
but
push.
Saperstein's the best in the state. I don't know.
Maybe they reached in there and
I feel like that's the best you're gonna get on that.
Maybe the thing slithered out.
Right?
Maybe. Well, we never saw the baby, so we know it had claws and stuff. So
Yeah.
I like how like all the
Horns.
crazy shit that's happening, that's what we're concerned about. Like the devil worshiping, her baby's like freaking satanic, like and then like, wait, how did it come out? Like
Seriously though, like I was like, how did it get out?
she got drugged, raped.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
never mind that. Like let's think logically here. So then she's like resting in bed. She's devastated. She keeps like pumping her breast milk, and Laura Louise like takes it, so she's like throwing it away. She's like, well, we have to get rid of it. And then like Rosemary is kind of like skeptical because she's also hearing a baby crying in the apartment building, and it sounds close, even though Guy tells her it's like several floors up, which doesn't make sense. You wouldn't be able to hear that. But so then she like one day tests like Laura Louise and is like gonna put a dirty spoon or something like into her breast milk cup, and she's like, well, it's just getting thrown anyways. And Laura Louise is like, no, we don't want to make a mess or like something like weird about like that. And then that's when she's like, well, I'm gonna go look for my baby. Like something's up. Like these people are hiding something from me. She's like stashing away like her sleeping pills or like her, I don't know what they're doing. They're making her like sedated, and she basically like gives them all to Laura Louise and like knocks her out one night when she's watching her. And she like books it in through like the closet door because she's like, there's something going on in the Castovets apartment.
Yeah. So she finds like a party, like the satanic party, like all the cult members are there. And then like in the middle of the room is like a black bassinet, which was kind of cool to see because like is not what I pictured of what was actually in the movie. It was like some weird, like super tall thing. But it had like an upside down cross hanging from it. And Rosemary like has a knife and she like is like walking up. Finally, someone notices her, and the whole room kind of like just looks at her, and she sees the baby, and then the baby opens his eyes, and it's like yellow eyes with like black slits or something in it.
Mm-hmm. Like a snake.
Yeah. And then they also explain like during this time that like the baby has a tail and like claws and
Horns?
yeah, like
Horns.
nubs for horns.
And they're like, she's like, what did you do to him? And because he's like, there's something wrong with his eyes and all this stuff. And they're like, well, he has his father's eyes. And she's like, Guy doesn't have yellow eyes. And then they basically explain everything to her.
Yeah. And then it pretty much just ends with like her accepting it. Like it's
she goes from like she's gonna kill the baby, like literally, like
in the book.
In the book.
Yeah.
To killing the baby, like jumping out the window or throwing the baby out and then jumping after.
Yep.
And then she's like all of a sudden like falling in love with this baby because it's like her baby. And then I'm assuming she's just going to take care of the baby.
Because they're like, or Roman's like, be a mother to your child. Like,
Yep.
Laura, Louise, and Minnie are too old. And then she's like, well, we're going to name him Andy.
Yeah.
I
She
thought it was
so
a
stuck on
little.
that.
I didn't think it was like that abrupt though. I thought that took a little more like. For
Well,
her to
it's
come
not like
around.
she was like in there that long though.
Well,
It was like,
I thought it was
I
pretty
guess.
abrupt.
I mean, it
to,
was like under an
accept what was
hour.
going
They
on.
probably got her like
I mean, she
to
didn't go,
join them.
She
Basically,
didn't go in there to kill the baby though. She went in there.
to get
To
her
get her
baby.
baby.
But she had the knife. No.
But she had the knife to defend herself.
But in the book, though, she was saying, like, after she saw her baby, she was like, I can't let them, like, raise this baby like this. Like,
Well,
I'm going to
can't let
throw the
this
baby
baby,
out
like-
the window and I'm going to jump after.
Yeah.
well, no,
Like, well,
it crossed her mind, but then she's like, I can't do that to my child.
Well, yeah, but that was still, like, a short time. Like, she just walked into the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It wasn't, like, hours and
she
hours.
also changed her mind quickly. I mean, I don't know.
Well-
I didn't take it like that. I took it like that was a fleeting thought in her head to like kill herself and the baby, and then she realized like it's her baby.
Well, I think because, like, the baby opened its eyes again and then she was like, oh, it's really not that bad, actually. Like,
Yeah, but
I didn't
like
think it was
that
that.
was a quick moment, but in the book I really appreciate that moment. Cuz in the movie there's zero moments of that. You don't hear
yeah,
her
they don't.
thoughts.
Yeah.
You don't hear nothing. All you see is oh, okay, I'm just going to join whatever, fuck it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I hated it. I was like, "Oh my god." It's she just went full on board for it. But that's what I did like about the book is that you get to hear her thoughts. At least she had the thought that, oh my gosh, okay, I just gave birth to the Antichrist. I should try to kill it, and then I'll just jump out the window.
But
Yeah.
that's the interesting part is like I just gave birth to the Antichrist, but it's still my child.
Yeah. Like she still fails at the end.
Well, but that's the conflict though is like it's the
Yeah.
Antichrist, but it's my child.
Yep.
You know, so it's like I don't
it's
know.
like the true testament of a mother's love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A-
right.
it's a face only a mother could love. You know that old
Yeah.
saying.
Rosemary's
Like,
baby. I
Yeah,
mean,
you're just raising Satan's child.
Yeah, but it's her baby. I
but
mean,
it's her baby. I mean, I think that's the point of it is to like
Yeah.
make you kind of think about that.
yeah.
There's this show called Sweet Tooth. Have you guys seen it?
I've not seen it.
No,
I've
but
seen
I'm nervous.
No, it's good.
Oh,
I want
continue.
it. It's like babies are be born as like half animal,
Mm-hmm.
and like that just reminded me of it because like some people were like, "Oh my god, these like get rid of them," but then
But it's like
others were like,
fiction,
"Well, it's my
right?
yeah,"
Okay, we're just checking.
and then
Well, I just I don't know.
it's definitely nonfiction. But no, and then some people are like, no, like it's the mother's love. Like you can
Yeah.
you have to keep the baby, you know,
If
even
you're-
though they look like that.
If your baby was born with a tail and horns, would you still love her?
If I knew it was Satan's baby,
Nope.
no.
No, but I mean, like if it was like your baby.
How would that happen?
I don't know. I'm just
How
wondering.
would that happen?
I'm just wondering.
Did you know like the way like that we're like our posture is like having us like slowly develop like horns like or like a tail
What?
and like yeah, I saw like it's slow like because of our phones like we're starting like we're eventually I saw like some
So
article
true.
how we're eventually going to like have like a horn or something right here
In our back.
with the way that like we're evolving.
Like we hunch down to look at our phones.
Yeah, and then there's something, yeah, it's like something with our posture. Like obviously probably hundreds and hundreds of years from now.
Evolution.
But like, yeah,
Not my problem.
yeah,
I
exactly.
remember always hearing that eventually we'll have four digits on our feet
Ew, why?
because the pinky's so small it doesn't really do anything. That's what I remember hearing.
No.
It doesn't do anything.
Kind of just hangs out there.
Like that one picture.
That was my big toe.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea.
We
what's
were
going
having
on.
a little photo
Oh my
shoot for one
gosh.
of our podcast episodes. I think it was last week.
It was last week. Yeah.
Where we promoted David's tea.
Yep.
And it was a picture like close up of the tea, and Paige kept putting her freaking big toe in the background of the photo, and David was like taking
I was
shots
taking
of it.
the photos.
I was like, "Get your damn toe out of
Get
the
your
picture."
damn toe.
Yeah.
It was funny. Anyway, had to be there. Let's get into some questions about the book and the movie. So, just like thinking about the characters, it's pretty much all the same ones in the book as in the movie. There's a few extras in the book that we don't hear about, but like, what did you guys think of them? Like, did you like anybody? Did you enjoy reading about anybody? Were you like not a fan of certain characters? I mean, talked about it a little bit, but
I mean, what was cool with the audiobook was that it was the same actress. So she read the book and she also played in the movie of Rosemary. I thought that was really cool because it really tied both the movie and the book together perfectly, honestly.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so I like that.
I hated all the characters. I didn't like any of them, honestly.
Really?
Except
Even-
Hutch. Hutch was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't like anyone else. I thought Rosemary was annoying. I hated Guy. I thought Minnie and Roman were annoying. Yeah, I didn't like any of them. Except Hutch was, like, normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked Hutch the most. Didn't really care for anybody else, but I at least like understood what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Minnie and Roman want the Antichrist. Rosemary wants a baby. Guy wants to be famous.
Yep.
And then they all kind of collide.
And
Yeah.
get
And
what they
like
wanted.
one helps the other. They take advantage of Rosemary and like
Yeah.
it makes a story. But
Mhm.
yeah, I didn't really like anyone in particular.
Yeah. Agreed. I didn't like anybody either. I thought that a lot of them were interesting to read about. Like, I felt like their characters were very well crafted. Just like Minnie and Robin kind of had their own quirky personalities. Obviously, they're bad people, but like they were interesting to read about. And in the movie too, I thought the actress that played Minnie was like funny. I mean, she
I
was
hated
annoying. Her voice was
I
super
didn't like her
annoying, but
either.
like I don't know. I felt like it was interesting. Like it
Yeah.
kept my interest.
I would have preferred anybody else in that. But like
Oh,
Same.
seriously, I
Okay.
could not stand her.
I thought it was kind of
I was
funny.
cringing. Yeah.
Guy is like the absolute like turd of the world. Like I
Yeah.
literally hate him so much. Rosemary's felt bad for her. I mean, you can't really victim blame her too much because that was again a point in time where like women probably didn't have as many rights or felt like they could really take control of their own health. You know what I mean? So she's kind of trapped in the society that she lives in a way.
The thing that's annoying, though, is, like, we obviously had her thoughts and her point of view with the book, and, like, she still, like,
Yes.
wasn't thinking how she should have been. Like, yeah, like, outside of her own thoughts, like, she probably wasn't like, women didn't have any rights, but, like, we were in her head.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, she should have been,
Smarter.
yeah,
Right.
or at least, like, try to deceive them a little bit. Like, you know,
She didn't
like,
do
this.
anything.
Yeah, I
No.
know. So that's why I didn't like her.
Yeah.
Fell
Yeah.
She
right
was
into the
so
traps.
naive and was just like taking everything as is, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
She literally told like Saperstein and Guy like
Everything.
everything.
Yeah, she's not super smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did feel bad for her.
I think it worked out for
Yeah,
her. I mean,
she
honestly.
had her baby.
Yeah.
Curious to see how it goes with motherhood.
Right.
That's why I kind of want to read the other book.
I'd be curious. I just haven't heard a lot about it, so I just wonder. I get like flop vibes, you know, like
Yeah.
it wouldn't live up to the first one because the first one has a god damn like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes just about. Like it's a very beloved like horror movie. The book is very beloved also. So like
Wow.
and again, back in that time period, it probably was very scary, and maybe that segues into like our next question, but like what did you guys like pick up on with like the time period? Because it was written in like 1967. The movie actually came out in 1968. So I don't know if it was like planned already that it was like going to be a movie right after, or if it was like just such a hit in the beginning that like they made a movie about it.
It had to have been planned because I mean, I guess with like knowing how long it takes to make movies now, like how
Yeah.
did they, you know, get
Yeah,
that
you
out
would
within the
think.
next year?
Yeah,
Because
that's true.
their software and stuff must have been so old and
Yeah.
Yeah, probably took
Yeah.
I
longer.
mean, you think about
Yeah.
the devil, like in the rape scene.
yep.
It was like probably a guy in costume.
Oh,
yeah.
100% it was.
yeah.
Did you
It's
see that
all
guy?
like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
there's a word for it. It's not CGI. It's like, I don't know, some specific type of effects.
Yeah.
That they use for film production. And
Yeah, I can't think of it.
yeah.
And like the creepy music. It was just like some woman
Yeah.
like singing like la 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 like over and over
That
again.
was Rosemary singing.
Yeah, to her baby.
Yep.
It's a lullaby.
hmm
Creepy.
I thought the movie, like, it wasn't scary, but it kind of gave you that, like, spooky season vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
For me,
yeah.
at
It's a
least.
good start to spooky season.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
'cause,
mean-
like it's an old
wasn't
classic
like-
too. It's just like
Yeah.
a vibe in itself.
It's just one of those
Yeah.
movies that kind of gets you in the mood.
yeah.
Let's
Not
watch
for
something
sex.
more fucked up now.
Yeah, like Human Centipede. Anybody?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, I would never watch that again. But
No, I never watched that period.
I mean, like I was telling you earlier today, I was just like, well, a lot of the horror movies, like Conjuring, Insidious, stuff like that, you know, they have the demon or whatever, then eventually they get rid of the demon and it's kind of a happy ending.
yeah,
Which is most horror movies today. But this one, it was just kind of like unsettling that it's almost like the devil wins
yeah.
and it continues on and we don't know what the hell happens.
Yeah.
Like
That was
yeah.
unsettling to me.
I like that.
And you think about
Yeah.
it back in that time, I mean, just based on like how she talks about that she's estranged from her family because she married a Protestant and like her
Sure.
mother-in-law had been divorced twice. Like religion was like a very big deal back then. And you could argue it still is, depending on who you ask. But like
Yep.
religion had a lot more power back in the day. And so I feel like maybe, and I'm just thinking out loud, but like maybe back in that time when this book and movie came out, people were like, oh my God, like the devil like takes over and like, you know, religion is no longer winning. Like to that,
Yep.
like at that time period, like that might have been like a terrifying concept.
I bet
Scariest
people
thing.
to this day are still like that damn Rosemary's Baby that
Yeah.
changed
I
the
wonder
world.
that.
Yeah, it just like really must have flipped the script on horror. Like, oh, we're gonna like make a movie about the devil.
Yeah,
like, you know,
yeah.
I don't know.
Actually winning. Well, I mean, doing a little bit of research on it too, like they say they compare it to like Jaws or Frankenstein or any of those big type of movies. That it's that big and has that big of an impact. The only real thing, well, I mean, you guys brought up Twilight earlier. That maybe that kind of brought into Twilight, but the only other thing I could think of maybe was Voldemort with the acronym name.
Oh,
of,
yeah.
What's his acronym name? I can't remember.
Tom Riddle.
That's it. Tom Riddle. Yep.
I am Lord Voldemort.
Yes. That's the only other type thing I could think that maybe got brought in from Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, that's true. It could have
Yeah.
like really created some themes for like future movies and books.
Yep.
The Omen came out after
Oh yeah,
76.
that's a good old movie.
But that's literally about the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
What
about
is
the
it?
Antichrist.
Damien.
Yeah. Damien, yeah.
That's another movie we have to watch this spooky season. If you think it was like, or if it was like rewritten now, or like they made a new like creepier version of it, like what do you guys think like they would do?
They would spell goodbye, right?
Talking about the book of the movie.
Either like if they like released Rosemary's Baby today, but like the director was like, I'm going to make this like present day Rosemary's Baby. they would show us the baby, first of all.
Yeah.
We would get to see the baby. We
100%.
did not get to see the baby in the movie.
Yep.
Does not seeing the baby make it a little more scary for an audience back then, do you think, though?
Probably. They
'Cause
just
it's
left
all
them to their
interpretation.
imaginations. And plus, they obviously didn't have the technology to actually produce anything
Right.
creepy looking.
But sometimes, like, when you have, like, a vision of horror in your head, and then you see that vision at the end, and it's not what you pictured,
yeah.
it can be laughable.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I mean, like the
Like a
scene
buzzkill.
of the scene of the raping where it had the eyes of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can still picture that right now.
Yeah.
Just those eyes.
and it was funny. I mean, you see the guy in the costume.
Yeah.
I don't mean that the rape was funny. That's not what I meant. I meant the fact that the guy,
Those
the
eyes.
devil,
Yeah.
was in like a furry costume and
Yep.
had yellow eyes. It just didn't look.
He had like costume claws that he like
costume
wiped
claws.
down her
Yeah.
body, and you're
Yeah,
like,
and it's like-
oh my god.
yeah.
I'm glad I read that in the book first before I watched the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I like had my own picture in my head from that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think a movie nowadays could be really good. Like if they
Yeah.
redid the movie,
They could make
I think
it really
could be
creepy.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
And they could probably make some of the culty things that the Cassavetes did like much creepier. Like instead of just giving
Sure.
her like a mysterious smoothie every day, like they could
Yep.
probably do something way more fucked up now. I'm sure people could think of something.
The thing I would hope though is that they do follow it pretty much along like the book, just like how the movie did. That
Yeah.
It was really cool how
It's
they did it.
very
It's like,
close,
oh
yeah.
wow, I can just I read this and now I'm following along. It's pretty cool.
Was there anything that like surprised you guys? Because I feel like this was pretty predictable,
yeah.
whether you'd seen it in the past or not.
I don't think anything like really surprised me. I think I was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
The ending
Predictable
surprised
enough.
me. Like
Oh,
I thought she was
the-
gonna fucking jump out the
The movie or the
window.
book? Oh, just like,
Well, the
Oh,
both.
both.
Both. Yeah. I thought she was gonna kill the baby.
yeah.
Kill the baby. Jump out the window or something.
I guess, yeah.
Just like Terry did, and then so it'd be another suicide to the building.
Yeah.
Good point. Obviously, going in, it's called Rosemary's Baby, so you know
Something's up with the baby.
what's going on. But
Yeah.
I didn't know what I didn't know what the book was about, and I didn't know what the movie was about. But going into it, I wasn't sure if Guy was in on it. But obviously, you figured out pretty quickly that
Yeah.
he gets turned over. But so that was, I guess, surprising to me. Like 50 pages in or whatever it was.
Yeah. It wasn't a very
you
big
know,
book.
but I wasn't
Yeah.
sure about that going in. But that was the biggest surprise, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about
I
you?
still.
So I saw the movie, like I said, long time ago, so I didn't remember everything about it, but I do remember like the ending where she has obviously Satan's baby, and I remember everybody around her being in on it. So I guess like it was kind of hard for me to be too surprised by anything, just kind of knowing what would happen. But what were you guys' thoughts on the movie? I guess overall before we talk about like our book ratings and stuff, but.
I liked it. I think they did a really good job of tying in the book to the movie.
Yeah.
Where that's always, I mean, I think that's everyone's biggest fear is that the movie's going to be so different than the book.
Yeah, they were almost like word for word with like the dialogue
Yeah.
with the book.
When you think about it, it was a 6-hour audiobook, a 2-hour movie.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So they
Yeah.
pretty much got everything.
Yeah.
We were going to do
Yeah.
separate episodes.
Yeah,
we're
but it's so
and
similar.
we're going to repeat ourselves.
Yeah,
It's so similar.
it's
Yeah.
so similar. There's no point.
Yeah.
So, like, audience, if you've watched the movie and not read the book, I mean, obviously we just spoiled everything for you, but it's really not. I don't think it's worth
Literally,
reading
the
it.
only thing missing is her like going away for like those couple days.
Yeah, the cabin.
and
like,
that's not even an
yeah.
important scene. Like,
Yeah.
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 I like the acting in the movie too. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie though a lot. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, not an expert on like movies made back in the 60s, but like I thought it was pretty good. And it's like it's a vibe, right? Watching an old horror movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts on the book. what was everybody's ratings?
My rating on the book was probably a 3 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, like the writing style, I mean, for it being written so long ago, it makes sense, but like it was so hard for me to like follow along with it because it like I just felt like it time jumped so much within like the same like on the same page of a book, like
Mm-hmm.
and then I don't know, it's just like the writing style like wasn't as exciting to me, like it was just kind of like boring.
Yeah.
I guess like some scenes were like fun to like read, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What about you guys?
I think I'm going to go. I'm honestly bouncing between a 4 and a 4.5 for both.
Really?
Nice.
Because it's one of those things where, like, I know it's Rosemary's Baby. You know what's going to happen. But in the book and the movie, I was, like, engaged the entire time through. So, even knowing what was going to happen. So, I guess I'm going to go 4.5 for both. I actually really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Nice.
So.
What about you, David?
I'll give it a 4. Yeah. I mean, I really liked it. I did not. I didn't expect the ending that it did, just because I expected, I guess, a happy ending.
You didn't like the ending of the movie.
In the movie, I was I mean, it's the same ending for the book and the movie.
But you saw the ending of the movie. Yeah.
With the ending of the movie, I didn't like that. You don't get her thoughts, and so that kind of drove me nuts. So yeah, I mean, I would give it a 4. I liked it though.
Me too. I'm also going to give it a 4. I agree with you, Paige, where like it was outdated writing. It was kind of boring, but because we listened to it, I thought Mia Farrow did a pretty good job considering like the audio quality wasn't great. Like me and Nick were about 2 minutes in and we were like, I don't know about this. I don't know if we could do it. But then like, I think we got used to it. So then after that, I felt like she did a pretty good job, like storytelling. So listening to it, like I was engaged, liked the movie. I liked it the first time I watched it too. It's just an eerie concept, and considering everything, I just think it's pretty good. So yeah.
Yeah, she did a good job. Because in the beginning, like you said, we were like, oh boy. But as it went on, it was, yeah. I mean, she is an actress, so she knows how to do the readings.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, she did a nice job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think towards the end, then her actressness kicked up a notch with the screaming.
Yeah.
I had to
She
cover
did
my
at the
ears
end,
during that.
yeah.
We had to
Oh
turn
my
it down every
gosh.
time she started screaming. We're like, oh no, that's like
Yep.
nails on a chalkboard.
I'm glad I didn't get to that part in the
Yeah,
audio.
you would not have liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good book to kick off spooky season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Read a classic. All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up this episode. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you, David and Nick, for hopping on with us. It's always a joy to have you guys here.
Yay.
Whoop, whoop.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
See you in about a month.
About a month.
Yeah.
2.
Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
We got 2 episodes with you guys in October.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Salem's Lot,
And then
Oh,
the
really?
movie.
and we're gonna talk spooky season movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, hell
We're gonna try something new. We
Love it.
kind of talked about a movie today, but we're just gonna. I think we can just get into all of our favorite spooky season.
What are we doing? Like a list of
Just our
5?
favorite
Just-
scary movies.
I
probably.
think we should pick a number that we each pick
Sure.
movies and
Yeah.
just talk about them.
Yeah.
It'd be good.
Awesome.
Can't
Good job.
wait.
Well. Oh, sorry. No, you're good. What were you gonna say?
Never mind.
Well, next week we are going to dive into Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, a very well-loved fantasy.
Favorite book ever.
Yeah.
Sane. I'm gonna reread it.
So I'm going to start reading that. But very excited. I know there's a lot of fans out there of that. So yeah, join us every Wednesday for more book chats. Don't forget to share your thoughts with us over on social media. Go check out our YouTube channel. We will be posting our giveaway video soon, so you can go see how you can enter to win a copy of Fourth Wing. And yeah, thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.